Hey guys, I'm Brian. I wanted to make a video today because I was flying yesterday, and in a matter of a couple of minutes, I actually had two conflicts. I'm editing another video that I was making, and I was going through it, and I was like, that's interesting. Kind of observing my behavior when a conflict comes up. And I think there might be some value in sharing some of my thoughts. And I would say this video might be helpful to two particular pilots. If you're, I don't know, sort of a novice pilot or maybe timid or a student pilot, and also, if you're a jerk pilot who thinks you're better than everybody else and that we're all lucky to share airspace with you, you're probably not going to glean anything from it. But this video might be helpful for you too. So let's jump into it.
All right, mixture's rich, fuel pump's on, trim's set, flaps are set. Northwest traffic commenced 420 pump is departing runway 35. We departing to the northwest traffic.
So I just pulled onto the runway at a non-towered field, and as soon as I hit the throttle, I hear a radio call that somebody's crossing the runway that I'm on.
Northwest traffic crossing the active. 35.
Oh, we got a guy crossing the active. Comanche on rollout, we'll hold for the guy to cross.
My immediate action was to pull the throttle, stop the plane, and let the guy go. It was easier for me at this point just to yield and let him do what he needed to do so that we wouldn't have a conflict.
Bro, I literally didn't even see you down there. Go for it.
All right, no worries, thank you. Northwest traffic 72420 pump is departing 25.
I'm still looking right at you. I still barely see you.
So I yielded to him, he yielded to me, we decided who was going to go. I went ahead and did another radio call and resumed my takeoff roll, and everything was fine. I even liked that there was a little bit of chatter there at the end just because, hey, everything's okay, we resolved this conflict and we're sharing this space together and it's all good, so we're good to go. So it's pretty cold air. I'm able to get off the ground in a very short distance, gears up. And just for reference, I'm going to show you the taxiway he was going to cross. Right there's taxiway Bravo, which is where he had radioed from. This is where he was going to cross. As you can see, I'm already probably 300 feet in the air, so there was never an issue. If we go a little further, there we go. You can see where he's at. He's actually not anywhere near the runway. This is just to clarify. He wasn't on the runway or near the runway. There's a hold short line here, which is pretty far displaced from the runway. So there never really was a conflict. But if he had been on the wrong frequency or didn't hear me or there was any reason he had gone, I just want to show there wouldn't have been an issue on this particular day. But again, the point is I yielded, he yielded, we sorted it out and everything worked out. I've seen this situation where pilots will start to go at each other and bicker a little bit about, you know, who's got the right of way and who's first. Now you're fighting, now you're in a bad mood. Nobody wants to fly a plane and not have fun, and it's not fun if you're mad.
I tried to cross the runway while we were about to roll out, but it happens, and we did the right thing. We both yielded, and then figured out who was going to go. It's, in my opinion, it's always better to just yield. If everybody yields, no one gets hurt.
2 to 3 minutes after my departure, I was on a northwest heading, and I looked down at ForeFlight, and I saw there was another aircraft, same altitude, opposite direction. We were both at 2,000 feet. My immediate reaction was just to go ahead and do a turn to the north and start to descend so that it wouldn't be a conflict. Right about that time, I heard him make a radio call.
North 03, no traffic, 060 Alpha Alpha. It's 8 to the northwest, entering left downwind 35, full stop northwest. We're at about 2,000 feet, descending 1,800.
All right, Sirius Alpha Alpha, Comanche just departed. Don't have eyes on you, but I'm going to turn to the right to try to steer clear of you.
He's in a Cirrus, which is a fast airplane. I'm in a fast airplane, which means our closure rate is very quick. I did not see him. I heard him. I knew where he was based on ForeFlight. I'd already started to take action, but I went ahead and keyed up the mic just to let him know. I knew he was out there, even though I couldn't see him, and this is what I was doing.
Got you on the fish finder. What altitude are you climbing up? We'll try and stay below you.
I actually just descended to make sure that we were clear. I think we're going to be fine. I'm going to stay on this heading. We should be fine.
10-4, I got you in sight. 60.
So this is another situation in which my gut reaction was just yield. As soon as there's a conflict, just yield, get out of it, get away. The only two things that were an issue was turning was the right action. I did start to descend when I saw him. I didn't know he was inbound to northwest, but he was, which means he was also descending. So if I just descended, wouldn't have helped the problem. So, you know, the turning was really the good action. The other problem is he called it a fish finder. It's not a fish finder. We're not fish, we're planes. What are we supposed to call it, by the way, when I've got you on there? What's the real terminology to let someone know, hey, I don't see you. I'm aware of you because I have this device. I know people throw fish finder out and it makes people mad. Anyway.
Again, see, if you yield, everybody's okay. A lot of pilots try to brute force their way into situations, and Maybe it'll work out, but maybe it won't. And then you're wrong. But if you yield, everything works out. You were right. Look at that. 2 miles clearance. This is an unintentionally educational video for you. If you're out there and there's a conflict, if it's on the ground, if it's in the air, that was 2 minutes apart. Just yield. Do a 360. Be the guy that does a 360 every time.
So the whole point of this is I'm editing this video and I'm looking at my behavior and trying to go, did I do this right? And I think I did. I think my initial reaction to just yield anytime there's any sort of conflict is the right reaction. And if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. This isn't something I'm studying. This is just me looking at my behavior and having experiences and kind of judging them. The other reason I bring this up is my airspace seems to be getting more and more crowded lately. I think it's the cold weather. Our planes love to fly in cold weather, and so I think everyone's out enjoying their few extra knots. I was flying to a handful of airports recently, and I noticed traffic patterns were getting really full, and I kept finding myself doing 360s for other people. At least twice, I heard 2 people kind of jockeying for finals. I'm doing this, and the guy says, well, I'm doing this, and the guy says, I'm doing this, and they're not yielding. And so I find myself going, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm just going to do a 360. And so that day I did 3 360s for traffic. I remember getting a little agitated, going like, why am I 360 guy? Why am I the one doing the 360s? When's going to be my straight end final? And then today I had the thought, like, I want to be the 360 guy. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think I want to be the 360. I think we should all want to be the 360 guy. Reason being, I believe it's a sign of situational awareness. I believe if I go and I say, hey, there's a hornet's nest down there, I can't control that, but I can control how I react to the hornet's nest. And so for me to go do a 360 for traffic is me saying, I'm going to go control what I can control and not have a conflict for me. So if you're a novice pilot, timid pilot, or a new pilot or whatever, and you've gotten in a situation where there's been a conflict and you've been like, oh my gosh, that jarred me or scared me or something. I think you can always just get yourself out of the situation and climb above it, do a 360 and come back and do 10 360s, whatever it takes. But just stay away from the situation until you're comfortable getting into the situation. So this is my own assessment. But and if you're the jerk pilot who's like, I've got the right of way, the book says I'm lower, I've got the right of way. So what? If you're dead, it doesn't matter what the book says. So I don't know. The more I get experience flying, the more I do self-analysis, and the more I found something here I was doing where I'm like, this may have value. And if I'm wrong, I want to know. So tell me in the comments if, like, no, the book says the low guy has the right of way. So if you're the low guy, you come hell or high water, you're going in. But I think if you're, we pilots say every takeoff should be thought of as a rejected takeoff. Every landing should be thought of as a go around until it's done. Maybe every pattern entry should be a 360 until you're in the pattern. I don't know. So food for thought. Happy to know if you guys think I'm wrong. So sorry, really sorry for making a serious video on the channel, but I'm learning a lot lately. So that's it. You guys fly smart. Stop calling it a fish finder, and we'll see you in the next one. Click this link to see the most recent video upload. Click this link to see a video that YouTube thinks you might like. Click this link to subscribe to my channel.